Hey everyone, and welcome to our channel. Learn English through Stories Level 2. The name of today's story is The Dream of the Goal. The story was written by Elena Mendez. This is part 2. So, let's start the story. Every afternoon, after completing his school and market duties, Polydukto joins us on the soccer field. As the natural leader, he is the one who truly organizes the matches, pays attention to how each of us plays, and at the end of the match shares advice and motivates us to improve our techniques. His passion for sports is contagious, and he has managed to turn the soccer field into a meeting and fun place for the young people of the town. Polydukto is not only a passionate soccer player, but he is also a young man with a big heart. I always see how he is willing to help his friends, whether on the playing field or in everyday life. He is a leader based on friendship and solidarity. And with his actions he has earned the respect and affection of all of us who know him. Apart from my friends, I also want to tell you about Don Toto. He is a man who will turn 50 next year. His entire life has been dedicated to transporting people to neighboring communities. This activity for so long has made him a recognized and also loved person, above all, because despite his age, his active spirit and his love for serving others keep him on the road, although now in a different way. For many years, Don Toto was a bus driver, and for a few years he has continued to transport us. But from his red pickup truck, he often offers to take neighbors to the city or other nearby places when they need it. Without asking for anything in return, like today, he will take us, wait for us, and bring us back just for the joy of seeing us smile. Don Toto is someone very special. He is a man who is always in a good mood, with a friendly smile and a positive attitude towards life. He has the quality of making people feel comfortable and welcome in his company. Whenever he talks to us, he tells us in a friendly manner anecdotes about his years as a bus driver with which we laugh and also learn. Don Toto has a special place in our hearts, especially in the hearts of those of us who enjoy football every afternoon. Many times he stops to watch the games and cheer us on. He tells us stories from his own youth and also shares tips about the game. Their support and affection towards us children is evident in every gesture and word. Don Toto interrupts our hubbub to announce that we have arrived at San Miguel Tepozontes. Here we will only cross the town center, drawing a straight line that represents a perfect bridge between San Juan Tepozontes and Santa Maria Ostema. A route that brings us closer and closer to our final destination. The path that begins in the municipal park of San Miguel Tepozontes and heads to Santa Maria Ostema gives us a spectacular route through the mountainous and picturesque. Don Toto has a special place in our hearts. Especially in the hearts of those of us who enjoy football every afternoon. Many times he stops to watch the games and cheer us on. He tells us stories from his own youth and also shares tips about the game. Their support and affection towards us children is evident in every gesture and word. Don Toto interrupts our hubbub to announce that we have arrived at San Miguel Tepozontes. Here we will only cross the town center, drawing a straight line that represents a perfect bridge between San Juan Tepozontes and Santa Maria Ostema, a route that brings us closer and closer to our final destination. The path that begins in the municipal park of San Miguel Tepozontes and heads to Santa Maria Ostema gives us a spectacular route through the mountainous and picturesque landscapes of the area. As we advance, we find a series of very peculiar characteristics of this place. In the initial sections of the path, we pass through pine forests that create a fresh and at the same time serene atmosphere. the trees rise majestically on both sides of the road and at the same time provide us with shade and a pleasant wood smell. The road winds through hills and mountains that are still part of the landscape of San Miguel Tepozontes and, at the same time, the mountains offer unimaginable panoramic views that add a unique element to the tour. As we move away from San Miguel Tepozontes, we find agricultural fields with crops of many and varied bright colors that give a sense of life to the landscape. Also in this area, in some sections of the road, you cross small streams that descend from the mountains. Unlike the ones we found at the beginning of our trip, these seem to be fresher and they warmly invite us to stop for a moment and enjoy nature. The route from San Miguel Tepozontes to Santa Maria Ostema would allow us to briefly go to the town of Paraíso do Osorio, where we could find a lot of charm and beauty due to its cobblestone streets, its colonial-style houses, and its calm and peaceful atmosphere. But we will do this visit another day. At this moment our greatest desire is to reach the boulevard of La Costa del Sol, but what happens? The pickup has stopped. I think that Don Toto has also been convinced by the panoramic views in which the tranquility and serenity that is experienced predominate. We are right at the highest part of Santa Maria Ostema. There is a restaurant that has chairs and tables arranged in the back and from where visitors appreciate a very characteristic visual experience of the surrounding region. I see that Don Toto gets out of the driver's seat and opens the hood. Touch some parts, return to the driver's seat and try to start the vehicle. After several attempts in vain, he tells us the most feared words, "Children, I'm sorry." The vehicle must be repaired in a workshop and we will not be able to continue with our trip. Our hearts stop with a beat suspended in the air, like a smile that is frozen in time, and while we see our most dreamed day evaporate before us, Poliducto interrupts with his bossy voice, "Don't worry, Don Toto, we will continue walking. This region is our birthplace and we will be able to arrive in time to see the grand final." Upon pronouncing that saving phrase, he stands up and begins to move down the road while Chaco, Chino and I follow him while we move our hands to say goodbye to Don Toto. Along the way, we began to see the agricultural fields from another angle, but always filled with a pallid emerald green. On our way, we come across some traditional houses that are very peculiar, with their red tile roofs and brightly colored walls, which add a charm to the view. We continue advancing and in some sections of the road, we can see the forests and native vegetation that frame the road. The trees and bushes add a touch of freshness and naturalness to the environment. After walking for about 15 minutes, we have reached a point where we must decide which street to take. Chaco, with all the knowledge that Miss Martita has taught him, says with great confidence that the widest path is the one that will allow us to cross San Pedro Nanualco, an action that will take us directly to San Juan Nanualco, our next stop. We have walked for more than half an hour and far from seeing the road to San Juan Nanualco, we have entered a place where there are many houses, farms and empty land. Oh no, I'm afraid to consider it, but I think we're lost. Nobody has said anything, for being afraid of bothering Chaco or Poliducto, who are the ones who have been guiding us. Suddenly, Chino dares and suggests, "What if we ask some locals around here? Maybe they show us a straighter path that will save us time and arrive earlier." Poliducto nods his head, does a quick search with his eyes and points with his index finger to one side of the path saying, "There comes a man." It seems that he has come from working the land, so he must know this place and its surroundings well. Come on, we'll ask him. The four of us changed course and headed without hesitation to meet the farmer. From a distance he looks like a man, Up close we can see that he is a young adult who is not over 30 years old. He apparently looks moody, which we can understand after working every day under the rays of the sun on this beautiful and warm land. Indeed, we have lost ourselves. Our new friend invites us to follow him in the opposite direction on the streets that we have just walked downhill. As we leave the wrong streets, we listen to his story carefully. His life unfolds in the farm fields of the region, where he works hard to support his family and at the same time contribute to the community. Despite his serious appearance, he has shown us a friendly hand at all times with great kindness, and with his attitude he reminds us of our lessons from Sundays when they insist that we all have a responsibility and commitment towards others and towards our land. In 15 minutes and through unrecognizable streets we have reached our next destination, San Juan Nanualco. We didn't even notice when we passed through San Pedro Nanualco or when we left Santa Maria Ostama. The desire to arrive and not waste more time has been stronger than the curiosity of our eyes to enjoy the range of options in terms of landscapes. Well, my new friends, we have arrived. Do you recognize this place? We are in the Temple of the Lord of Charity in San Juan Nanualco. I do recognize it. And I say it with emotion. We come to this temple every Friday to visit the Lord of Charity, and then we go to the municipal market to eat the tasty food that is characteristic of this town. I'm glad you recognize it, the farmer tells me. As you understand, I can accompany you up to this point since I must return to my work. We said goodbye to our new friend with hearts full of gratitude and with the desire to see him again in the very near future. The Temple of the Lord of Charity is a very beautiful place, and it is also a place that represents an important part of the history and culture of this city. This temple has arches, columns, and many details as ornaments on its facade, which is imposing and immediately attracts attention. Its ornaments are carved pieces and religious sculptures that represent biblical scenes and holy figures. Many craftsmen participated in the construction of this work. Paying attention, you can notice that the temple also has two identical towers that stand out on the main facade. These towers are a distinctive feature of the place and make the view impressive, since at the top of each tower, there are bell towers that keeps historical bells. Upon entering the temple, visitors are enveloped by an atmosphere of solemnity and devotion. This environment provides a space for reflection for each visitor. The main altar is the most important point of the interior and is adorned with carved golden altarpieces that represent religious scenes. On the right side of the main altar, a line of visitors and devotees begins to climb one by one to the highest part of the altar and be able to make their requests and prayers of gratitude closely to the Lord of Charity. When you go down, after that visit, on the left side there are metal tables that have many candle holders and that are used by the faithful people to light a yellow candle that they have just bought at the entrance to the temple, as a symbol that seals the visit they have just made. As if time had stopped for a few moments, we were immersed in the beauty of the place. Once again, Chino interrupts, this time saying, "And now how are we going to continue on our way?" Poliducto responds, "Do you see those three people who look like tourists? Come on. Let's talk to them. Maybe if we tell them our situation they can give us an idea of how to continue on our path." The four of us friends headed to the block where the three tourists were. We approached smiling, as if we knew that there would be the key to the door that would open the way to the stadium again. We greet them and, the moment they look at us, we recite our names. We started a very pleasant conversation. They introduced themselves, pronouncing their names in a very particular way so that despite having foreign names we could pronounce them. Sophie is the most smiling of the group. Her foam-white skin and green eyes contrast with the brightness of her constant smile. Her slim body and curly hair fit perfectly with her enthusiasm for experiencing the vibrant patron saint festivities in San Juan Nanualco. Her spirit retains an immense motivation to explore new cultures and traditions, and this is a perfect opportunity to immerse herself in authentic local life. Sophie is a lover of gastronomy, so her plan has been to enjoy the delicious typical dishes found in the municipal market, especially the iguana eggs and alguashe. Additionally, she can't wait to try the famous punch made by the locals, which she has heard is a delicious and traditional drink from the region made of milk, egg and a little liquor. Chloe is an adventurous traveler who has arrived in San Juan Nanualco with the intention of immersing herself in the local culture. Unlike Sophie, her height is medium and her hair is dark and shiny. Her nose stands out on his face and matches her large mouth, since her small eyes seem to be drawn like a thick line that, combined with her smile, denote kindness all the time. She is intrigued and eager to witness the colorful parades and processions, with special interest that of the tiger and deer dance, and hopes to capture the essence of these festivities in her photographs,